Hey everyone, and welcome to my little pottery mold adventure. My name is Amber, and today's project is something that I initially was not super excited about, if I'm honest. I didn't know what to do with this mold. It says on there that it is a nut cup mold, which I'm assuming just means for a bunch of peanuts or pecans or something like that, but it is quite elegant. And I'm not really an elegant type of girl. I think on the label it even uses the word Victorian. So it is definitely meant to be a bit more on the fancy side. But I'm a lot more whimsical and cutesy with my art than I am fancy. So this was a real challenge for me when I thought of how I was going to create this mold and make it work the best for me.
And no one's there, and you wonder who even cares. Oh, come back to your breath, don't drift away from me. I will come down to remind you of before. We can fly away from here. We can stay close, my dear. Swept up and away from
I always open up my molds after 24 hours, and so these little cups had been sitting overnight and all day, and I went to open them up, and sadly, one of them did not make it. So this was a very, very fragile mold. One of them luckily was fine, and I do end up pouring more. So I started to clean up the one that made it through, and I don't know, I think it needs to be a little bit thicker of a mold than what I usually do, just because it is so fragile. And I also think that maybe just the age of this mold made it a little bit more tricky to kind of like handle. So anyway, as I was cleaning it up, I got an idea for what I could do, and it made me feel so excited because I felt like I could really tie in my personality to this design. So I decided to make it be as if these little open spots were frames. And so I decided to start with a hummingbird. I really love hummingbirds. They are something that are really special to me for a lot of different reasons. But they're so whimsical, and they're so magical, the way that they move, and just I've done a lot of research on hummingbirds and I really like them. So I just kind of felt like it was the perfect kind of thing to start with. So I wanted to do kind of a boy hummingbird and then a girl hummingbird. And in the other two sides, because there's 4 of these little frame areas on each one, I just wanted to put little quotes about love.
your best kept secrets underground. Oh, your hand on my chest, my heart beats for you. I keep my arms out and hold you like before.
So it was finally time to glaze the pieces once they were out of their bisque fire, and I put a lot of thought into what I wanted these to be. And after a lot of time just kind of looking at them and thinking about what I had drawn on there, I decided that they would make the perfect ice cream cups. Just like a single scoop, a little something sweet that you could enjoy at night, and something so beautiful. and meaningful as well. I started with the hummingbird because I knew right away I wanted this to look like a hummingbird. I didn't want it to just be white or just be a solid color. I really wanted to take my time and paint this so that it looked as much like a hummingbird as it could. So I used Stroke and Coat from Mako for this, and I'm so glad I did because the colors were really easy to mix together, and they also kind of blended just slightly. So one of them does have a crown, and I have thought about adding gold to it, but I didn't as of now. I just kind of did yellow for the crown. And then for the words, I decided to use this little tool and just kind of write in the words as well as give the hummingbirds a little bit of detail and then just kind of wipe away the excess. For the swans, I did a full layer of rose quartz, which is a high fire glaze. And I just kind of painted the entire thing, and then I wiped away everything that was inside of just the swan's little frame because I decided to do something a little different with the words for the swan cups than I did for the hummingbird cups. This swan set, they go perfectly together. The swan with the crown, which I like to think of as the girl swan, and the swan without the crown. And I like to think of him as the boy swan. So I kind of feel like it's a little couple. And I really leaned in to the Bible verse in 1 Corinthians, love is patient and love is kind. And I think that enjoying a scoop of ice cream at night with someone you love out of special cups like this, it really does show love and kindness because you're forced to reach into the cabinet and get something that was made with purpose. And I think that it just kind of, it forces you to think about life in a different way. You could easily just eat ice cream out of the carton, or you could do it with purpose. And I think that that's kind of like what you have to do with love. You have to do it with purpose. And so I just think that these ice cream cups are the perfect way to kind of like glorify those beautiful words in 1 Corinthians and to just kind of like think about them and embrace them because they are on the sides of this little ice cream cup, and it'll just kind of allow you to think about why you are so grateful for that love. So here they are out of the kiln, and they turned out different than I planned, but I also really love them. So the inside is satin patina, which is a high fire glaze from Mako, and the outside of the swans is rose quartz, and I really love it. I decided to just leave the words there and kind of carve into them, and I really like how you can just read them, but you have to read them with purpose. You have to look for them. They don't just stand out. And I think that that says a lot about what the meaning behind them was kind of like leaning into as well. That green did kind of drip onto some of the words, which really bothered me. And one of the swan's faces got a little smeared. But overall, the set is so beautiful. And I'm looking forward to putting this in my cabinet so much. And then we have the hummingbird, which the satin patina green didn't look as vibrant on the edges of this as it does on the inside. I think that it definitely needed a few more coats, but overall it complements the little greens that you see in the hummingbirds so well. It's just beautiful. So here they are. I love them so much. Let me know what you guys think. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye!